Yo, what the fuck is up, everybody? This is the Flamehead 97 here for y'all today. And as y'all can see on my screen recorder here, I have Ludacris albums ranked, tier album ranking. So this is going to be something different for me on YouTube because I've seen many other people have tier lists. So it influenced me to come up with this. And I chose Ludacris for this because he's one of my all-time favorite rappers and a rapper I grew up to and a rapper that I still enjoy to this very day here in October of 2024. Still a fan of Ludacris, so starting with Back to the First Time and all the way up to Ludaversal is where we'll rank these albums from S to D. So let's go to me again, everybody. Alright, up first is his first album, Back for the First Time. Definitely a good album. You had songs like Southern Hospitality, What's Your Fantasy, the original and remix, Get Off Me, featuring Pastor Troy. Ho was on this album. Fat Rabbit was also on this album, like it was Timbaland's 1998 album. Is also included on Luda's album, Back for the First Time, so it's pretty cool. So I'm going to give this album a score of an A. Next is going to be Word of Mouth. This is one of Luda's S albums. So, yeah, definitely an S album from Ludacris. One of the best albums that he's ever put out. My personal top 3 when it comes to Ludacris. So, yeah, Word of Mouth. You got a lot of good shit on here. We'll name some of those songs right now. Roll Out My Business. Get the Fuck Back was on this album. One of my favorites of the deep cuts off of this album. Area Codes, Growing Pains, Go to Sleep, Crybabies Oh No, She Said. This album is just flawless from beginning to end. So many good songs. So the S is where we're going to put Word of Mouth. Next is Chicken and Beer from 03, another good album. So we're going to put this in the S tier as well. Got Stand Up featuring Shauna. Hoes in My Room featuring Snoop Dogg was on this album. That's a good song. Also like Splash Waterfalls, Teamwork. Teamwork was one of my favorites of the non-singles and deep cuts. We Got was on here. Blow It Out, which was a diss track to Bill O'Reilly for being an asshole towards Ludacris. That was a good song. Just to name a small amount of songs for this album, but it's definitely an S album when it comes to Ludacris. Next is 2004's The Red Light District, another A album. A lot of good songs on this, like Get Back, Put Your Money featuring DMX, Rest in Peace DMX, that was a great song. Blueberry Yum Yum featuring Sleepy Brown, one of my favorites on the album. Also liked 2 Miles an Hour, Pass Out, Who Not Me, Pimpin' All Over the World featuring Bobby Valentino, back when that was still his stage name. So this album is another classic from Luda, so I'm putting it also in the S tier. Next is my favorite Ludacris album of all time, and the album that got me into Ludacris at a young age back in the late 2000s, around 2006 or 2007. Been a fan of Ludacris ever since. So a lot of good songs on here, like Slap, that's one of my favorites on the album. Also like Moneymaker, War with God, which is rumored to be a diss about T.I., but definitely a dope song. Runaway Love featuring Mary J. Blige, very great song. You also had Grow Up and Screw Up featuring Young Jeezy. So this is such a good album. Mouths to Feed was also a good song. Woozy with R. Kelly. A lot of great songs on here, guys. So S tier is where we're going to put Release Therapy. Next is 2008's album, Theater of the Mind. It's not as good as some of his other stuff, but it is an album that I grew up to in 2008/2009. Used to have it on CD, but it was the edited version. But nowadays, I appreciate the explicit music more of any music genre, especially rap and hip-hop, including Theater of the Mind. It's not a bad album, just not as good as his other stuff. But you still had a lot of good songs, though, like Undisputed, which was a great song. Had Floyd Money Mayweather on it. You also had Wish You Would with T.I., One More Drink with T-Pain, Southern Gangsta. Lil Wayne was on this album. Jay-Z and Nas are on I Do It For Hip Hop. With Them Girls Like featuring Sean Garrett and Chris Brown, Plies. So it's a good album. Also had MVP. So it's still a good album, but I'm going to leave it here in the B tier because that's where I feel like it rightfully deserves. It's not bad. It's just an album that I'd give like a 7 or a 7.5 out of a 10 for because he's got better albums. But for this, I'm going to put it in the B tier. Next is 2010's Battle of the Sexes. This was a pretty good album. So I'm going to put this in the A tier. I was kind of debating if I want it to be in A or B, but I'm going to put it in the A tier because I grew up to these songs in the early 2010s like How Low, Everybody Drunk featuring Lil Scrappy, which was one of my favorites of the non-singles. Party No Mo with Gucci Mane was awesome. BOTS Radio was a good song. Of course, Tell Me a Secret with Neo. Feeling So Sexy. Sexting. So, yeah, definitely a good album though, y'all. So, I'm putting it here in the A tier. And finally, we have Luda's latest album. I'm going to put this probably in the C tier. I mean, it's good, but I think his other albums that he's released years and years before it were better. But I still thought it was a good album for what it was at the time. I wish Ludacris was still making music, but Ludaversal, if it's his final album ever, then he ended it off on a good note. Because I've been hearing rumors for the last 3 or 4 years that he's supposed to release new music, but I haven't heard anything. So, whatever at this point. But he's still definitely a good rapper. So, Ludaversal here in the C tier for me. It's a good album, but it's missing some songs that were originally going to be on it, like Representing with Kelly Rowland, Party Girls with Kashmir Cat, Wiz Khalifa, Jeremiah. So yeah, that song is missing off of here. Jangling was also going to be on here but didn't make the final cut. But the album itself had good songs though, like Call Ya Bluff. Big Crit was on the song, or one of the songs on here. Grass Is Always Greener was a good song. Miguel, I think it was on either the standard edition or deluxe version of Ludaversal, but however, the song was called Good Lovin'. That was a good song from the Ludaversal era of Ludacris. So, this album is good, but I just feel like his earlier albums are better. So, I hope that gives a good explanation of why I'm putting Ludaversal in S tier. The only reason I didn't include Incognegro in the ranking is because most of the songs, or some of the songs that were on that album, were also put on as Back for the First Time album, so that's why I'm not putting it here. And plus, I haven't heard it all in full to give my full opinion. But those are just the reasons why it wasn't on this list or ranking with his other albums. And I didn't include his mixtapes because this is only an album tier ranking and not album/mixtapes. But I've heard stuff from his mixtapes before and they're still good. But other than that, guys, this is going to be my official ranking for Ludacris albums with the tier album ranking. So I'm going to see y'all next time, guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see y'all next time. Peace.